For now, we can add these access token inside our authorization header and we can send the request, right? And our application will confirm that we are authenticated inside this application. But these tokens are going to be valid for only 15 minutes, right? So if we come inside our sign in method, they are going to be valid for only 15 minutes. What after that? After that, if you remember, inside our database, whenever we are going to sign in inside these applications, we will have these tokens and they are going to be refresh token, which we can use for just single time to regenerate our access token. So once this token is going to be used, we are simply going to remove this token and then we are going to store another token for that same user. Now in future, whenever this token is going to be used for multiple times, it means this token is compromised. So at that point of time, we need to remove all the tokens and we are going to prevent our user from being attacked. Means now we need to have the route from where our user can send these tokens. And if you remember, whenever we are going to sign in, we are going to send these two different tokens. So one is going to be refresh token, another is going to be access token. Access token is the token which is going to be expired after 15 minutes. And this refresh token is the token which can be used for single time to regenerate the access token for another 15 minutes. So that's why it's called a refresh token, because this is going to be used to refresh the previous access token. So let's just see how we are going to handle this. If you come inside our node.md, I also have this thing for this refresh token right here, read and verify refresh token. So whenever we are going to send the request to regenerate the token, our user needs to send this refresh token, which we are going to send whenever our user is going to be signed in. And after that, find the user with the payload ID. Means whenever we are going to verify those tokens, we are going to have the payload, because if you remember, here we are going to add these payloads where we will have our user's ID. So after that, if the refresh token is valid and there is no user found, it means token is compromised. So as I already mentioned, these tokens are going to be used for just single time. So if these tokens are going to be used for multiple times, at that point of time, it will be considered as the token is compromised. So we are going to remove all of the previous tokens. So our user is going to be logged out from entire application or all the devices that they were using previously. And that same thing is mentioned right here. And if the token is valid and if we found the user, then it means now we need to generate new refresh token. And we are going to remove the previous token and update our user with this new token. And reason is that because we want to use these tokens for just single time, we need to also rotate those tokens. So whenever our user is going to send those refresh token, we are going to remove the previous one and we are going to generate the new one. And that is going to call the refresh token rotation. So let's just come inside our route and let's try to create the same thing that we just discussed. So this is going to be auth-router.post, because here we also want to send the refresh token, and route is going to be refresh dash token, and this is going to be the method grant access token. Let's just create this method inside our controller file. This is going to be the method. Let's save this file and I'm going to also import it right here. Let's save this and now let's complete this function. So the very first thing that we want to do is read and verify the refresh token. So how you are going to do this? You will have your refresh token inside your request.body. And here I'm not checking for the isAuth middleware. Reason is that whenever this isAuth is going to be fired, if this token is already expired, we are going to send this error response session expired. So that's why here I'm not using this isAuth middleware, okay? Because our user is going to come to this endpoint only if their access token is invalid. So let's again come inside this grant access token method. Now we have our refresh token, right? If there is no refresh token, there is no sense that we are going to move further. So let's just return raise.status, or we are going to use the send error response method. First of all, we have to pass the response, then the message on authorized request. Then we are also going to send the status code 403. Then if there is this refresh token, what we want to do? we want to find out the user with the payload ID and refresh token. It means first of all we need to verify this token. For that you can use this jwt.verify method, and here we are going to pass our refresh token. And after that here we also need to pass the secret. And let's see the secret that we used to sign this token, and that is going to be just the secret. So let's just come down. I'm going to add this right here, and this is going to give us the payload, right? And inside this payload what we will have ID and the string. So let's just cast its type. Here we will have ID, which is going to be a string. Now if we have the payload.id, we are going to find this user from inside our database. So let's just await for this user model dot find by ID, which is going to be payload ID. But here we are also going to check for this refresh token, right? So for that here I'm going to use this find one method, and here we will use this ID, which is going to be payload.id, or this is going to be underscore ID. And we also want to see if we have this token inside our database or not. So for that we can simply use this tokens, and here even this tokens is going to be array of a string. Okay, here we can simply pass our refresh token, and MongoDB will handle all the filtration and all those things behind the scene. Now let's store the value inside this user object. Now let's check if we have this user or not. So I'm still inside this if condition, as you can see. If there is no user, can you guess what if there is no user with this valid token? So because we haven't specified the expiration time for this refresh token, they are going to be valid for lifetime, and that's the reason that we are going to rotate our refresh token. Okay, so if this token is valid, which is going to be valid for entire life because we don't have the expiration time, and if there is no user with this given token, it means this token is compromised, right? Because whenever we are going to generate the token, we are going to update our user with this new token every time, right? So that's why if we just found the valid token, but if there is no user with this valid token, it means user's refresh token is compromised. So let's just add this comment right here. User is compromised. Remove all the previous tokens. So that's why we are going to prevent our user from being hacked. Okay, so let's just await user model dot find by ID and update, and we are going to find our user with this payload dot ID. Now we just want to use the ID. This time we are not going to use the token, but we are going to update our tokens, which is going to be just empty array. We are going to remove all the previous tokens from inside our database. As you can see, we are going to store these tokens like this, and if the token is compromised, we are just going to remove all the previous token, and we are going to send the error response as well. Send error response, and make sure you are going to return right here. We don't want to move further. Response, and here we are going to send the unauthorized request, and error code is going to be 401. And now if everything is fine, then what we want to do, we want to create new refresh token and access token and remove the previous token, and we are going to update our user and send new tokens. So let's just come down. First of all, we are going to create our new access token and the refresh token. So for that, what you can do, you can simply come up inside your sign in method and you can copy all these things. So let's come down. I'm going to paste them right here. Now we already have this payload right here, so that's why you will get this error. So I'm going to simply remove this payload from right here, and we are going to add these things right here. We need to pass this object with this user ID, and we also have this refresh token right here, as you can see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call it new refresh token, and this is going to be new access token. So these are the same thing that we did earlier. Now after creating these new tokens, what we want to do, we want to remove the previous token, as you can see. So you can come down and you can simply use your user dot tokens dot filter method, and inside this filter method we will get all the tokens, okay, which I'm just going to call T, or you can call RT if you want to call it refresh token as well. Now if this token is not equal to the token that we already have right here, or the refresh token, so let us copy this. So what this code will do, it will filter out this token that our user is going to send from inside the token that we already have. So after that, you can simply store this new tokens, or what you can do, you can simply use your user.tokens is going to be the filter method that we have right here. And again, if you are still confused with this, you can have this one extra line here, filtered tokens, and you can use this user tokens equal to filtered tokens. And because we just made changes inside this user, you also need to await and save your user. And after that, we are simply going to send the JSON response with the tokens, where we are going to have our refresh, which is going to be refresh token, and access, which is going to be new access token, and this needs to be new refresh token. That's it. Now again, if you come up, what we did here, we have this if condition, right? If there is this payload.id, we are going to fire all of these logic. So if there is no payload ID, there is nothing for that. So here what you can do, you can have your else clause like this, or you can simply move all of these code outside of this if condition. You can add them right here, and we are going to use this as the not operator. If there is no payload ID, then we are going to send the error response. We are simply going to return right here, send error response. Response object is going to be there, message needs to be there on authorized request, and the status code is going to be 401. Let's just save this file. So we just completed all of these things. Now we are already logged out from inside this application. If I come inside here and if I try to face the profile, so I'm just going to face the profile this time. Session expired, as you can see. So for this, what I can do now is I can send the refresh token that I got earlier. So this is going to be my refresh token. This time this endpoint is going to be auth/refresh -token, and here we are going to remove all of these things, and we are going to send refresh token, and this is going to be the token that we have right here. And now if I send this request, I'm going to get the new refresh token and new access token. Okay, so now what you can do, you can simply use this token instead of the previous token now right here, and this time we are not going to get any of these error like the session expired, because this is going to be new token which is going to be valid for next 15 minutes, as you can see. Again, if you come inside our database, this is the profile that we are using. Now if I refresh this, our token is going to be there. If you come inside this tokens, and we don't have any token, and the reason is that maybe we forgot to add the new token inside our database. So let's come down. Here we have the filtered tokens, but we also need to push the new token. So user.tokens.push, we are going to push the new refresh token. So that's how we are going to also store this new token. Now because we don't have any token inside our database, this is going to be not work. So first of all, I'm going to log in inside this application. I have all these information back, email and password, and this is my route, sign in. If I send the request, I'm going to get all these things. So let's just copy all of them. You can come here and you can use the same thing. Let's send the request, and we are going to get the profile because we just got this. So it will take next 15 minutes to expire this. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just use this refresh token, and let's see if we can grab the new refresh token. So this is going to be our refresh token, and we are going to send this to refresh-token. Now before I'm going to send this, if we come inside our database one more time, let's come down to the user that we have right here. So this is the profile that we used. Here we already have the single token, and here we have these 13 items. And if you just want to find out this thing, what we can do, we can simply copy this object ID like this, and here we can have our filter query. Like here we can have our _ID field, and this is going to be object ID, and here you can pass your object ID. Now let's just click on this find, and you will just have the single record that you want to find. Now here we have this token. Let's try to generate the new refresh tokens. As you can see, we have these tokens. Now if you see here inside our database, this token is going to be changed. Now if I refresh this, as you can see, the token is changed. But now again, if I try to use that same old refresh token and try to generate the access token, let's just send this unauthorized request. Now, if this token is going to be used for multiple times, it means user's token is compromised. So at that point of time, we are going to simply log out our user from the entire device wherever our user is logged in previously. So our refresh token route works completely fine. I know all these topics that we covered so far, they are the advanced topic. Now, still if you are confused with any of these things, please let me know. Otherwise, not to worry, we will create a sign out route in the next video.